Galimera, Galimera, Galimera. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And can I just say on behalf of Jane and I, can we wish you all happy Easter for those people of other nominations, not Greek Orthodox, who are celebrating Easter today. And what a beautiful day it is. I think you might be able to hear that there's a little bit of a wind blowing. There's a little bit of mist, shall we say, or a bit of haze, but it is actually warm. And even though there's a bit of a wind blowing, I'm not cold. It's absolutely glorious today. And once again, we just want to say happy Easter to everybody as well, for those people who are not Orthodox. I hope you have a lovely day today with your families, enjoying the little bit of social distancing that or social the social togetherness that you're allowed at the moment in certain locations around the world because of changes to what they're doing with coronavirus. And can I also say as well, if you're not aware of this, but it's also Happy Strays Day as well. And there's a nice little advertising thing that's come up in the Greek media called Hug a Stray. Yeah, that's what today is. So if you see a stray, give it a little bit of food, give it a bit of a hug, all right? And also, if you can do something, brilliant. But I've got another little news story about the strays a little bit later in my news thing. Big shout out to Wiggy Winstanley over there in Cyprus. I hope you're all right, fella. Sorry I didn't return your call the other day, but Jane and I got sidetracked by something and we totally forgot to give you a call back. And also big shout out to Hilary Rogers this morning, who was messaging me saying, Ginge, what time are you on? What time are you on? Well, I'm here now, Hilary, and I'm so glad to see that you've arrived. Also, Lyndon is here as well. Nice to see you as well, fella. And what a glorious day for an Easter Sunday where you may be. The weather yesterday went a bit weird for us here yesterday, but it has perked up again now, so I'm really pleased about that. Right, so I'm just going to switch my camera around. And my camera is now round. Absolutely fantastic. Right, okay, let's have a look at the news. Let's see what's been going on in the last 24 hours here on the beautiful country of Greece and also this island of Zakynthos. Right, so today is the, oops, it's all gone a bit odd there. Click it back. There we go. We're back again. Today is the 4th of April, obviously, Easter Sunday. And once again, a big Easter Sunday to everybody around the world. It's day 150 of the lockdown. Oh, yes, 150 days since we've been in lockdown. I will probably get confirmation on that number from the lovely Hilary Rogers. Yeah, day 150 and we're still locked down, and we got some measures opening up tomorrow, like the click and collect for shopping and a few little things, but at the moment technically we're still banged down at the moment. Anyway, COVID in the last 24 hours, unfortunately COVID numbers are going up again. At the moment, yesterday I reported you 3,080 new cases. Well, today I can report to you that that's gone up a bit to 3,232 new infections recorded across the country. All right, that brings the grand total since the pandemic started to 273,459 cases since the pandemic started. Now, 4 new cases were identified after checks into the country. That is actually down on the day before where we'd had 14, so there's a bit of an improvement there. But according to the national stats for yesterday, there were 2 new cases on Macardo, no new cases on Kefalonia. And if you remember, Macardo had gone for maybe 4 days with nothing. Well, that's obviously changed. Kefalonia, they had a day yesterday of nothing. And when it's come to Corfu, they've had 20 new cases, and Zakynthos has had 15 new cases, according to the national stats. Now, interestingly, I've not found any local reports to substantiate that at the moment. There's been no reports from the medical centres. There's been no reports from the hospital. There's been nothing from any of the other mediums here in the way of news of any figures on infection rate for yesterday. So all I'm thinking here is either this national stats are catching up, or we haven't yet filed what we've got to the media here. So at the moment, I'm going to take it as a day we've not had anything, even though the national stats are saying 15, and I haven't added those numbers to my tally, because my tally is only based on what is reported rather than what is given out by the government in their national statistics that come out every night at 6 o'clock. Anyway, so locally, we've had no cases reported. So at the moment, for the month of April, we have had 31 infections here on Zakynthos for the month of April at the moment. So, and again, it is the 4th already. Now, when it comes to deaths across the country, deaths have dropped slightly. The other day I reported there were 72 deaths reported across Greece. Today, I can report there were 70 new deaths reported across Greece. The average age of those people passing away, 79 years of age, bringing the grand total now of deaths since the pandemic started to 8,302 deaths since the beginning of the pandemic. Just another thing to remind you as well, that the average age of people who do pass away is approximately about 70 years of age, and 96.4% of those people had underlying health conditions or were over the age of 70 years of age. And as for Zakynthos, this month of April, no deaths at all been reported, although we did have 2 deaths in March and we did have 1 death in February. But other than that, we've not had any deaths since then. Anyway, as for critical cases in hospital, that has also creeped up a little bit. Last time I reported to you that across Greece in ICUs, there was 753 people in ICUs. Well, at the moment, it's now risen to 755. That's 486 male and 269 female. The average age of critical patients is around about 68 years of age. They all have, 86.5% of them have underlying health issues or are over the age of 70. So again, that is creeping up, and that is a concern for certain areas, especially Attica, Thessaloniki. For us here in Zakynthos at the moment, from information we had from the hospital, we've only had 1 person who's been treated in an incubated bed, and there were 5 patients actually in the COVID clinic as well. So again, we're coping well with the infection rate that we've had. Anyway, as I've already said, today is World Strays Day, when you should give a stray a hug. This is a Dutch, what do you call it? A Dutch international day, shall we say? And I think it's a fantastic idea. It's normally on the 4th of April, and the reason they say that is it's easy to remember the 4th of April, and normally they say it doesn't clash with anything of significance. Well, this year it just happens to clash with Easter, but that's by the by. So anyway, 4th of April is World Hug a Stray Day. So if you know any strays anywhere and you're probably out walking for your exercise, give them a little bit of food if you can, and give them a bit of a hug. All right, I think they might appreciate it. And if you can take one home and look after it, even better, give it a home. Now, the interesting thing is, even though it is it is Hug a Stray Day, the animal welfare have been in the news here on Zakynthos. An interesting story. I've been covering it. The media here has been covering it. And basically a story appeared in the Emira today, actually, about the unexplained indifference of the local authorities and especially the municipality in regarding the unresolved problems of the animal welfare organisations of Zakynthos and the recent spate of killings of stray dogs. Yeah, I'm sorry to say it's been happening. This has led to the members to actually visit the prosecutor of the island to see what can be done and to inform him of or her of what's been going on. Anyway, the newspaper The Emira and also the website emirazanti.gr, they've obviously been reporting these problems along with myself as well, and they've also highlighted some of the recent killings as well in the local paper. Unfortunately, their visit to the prosecutor didn't yield a lot. And in the words of the Greeks, he did not sweat in his ear. All right. In other words, he didn't get uncomfortable about what was being said. And they say that the situation now remains the same and probably even worse, because even though there's laws in place for the protection of stray animals, and if you remember, the animal welfare people been having lots of problems with trying to rehome strays because of certain legislation that is basically blocking strays from finding a new home. They're just really sort of confused, annoyed, and I would say a bit angry as well that they cannot do more than what they're allowed to do under the law. Anyway, there's been some dramatic poisonings have been taking place here on the island, much to the distress of people, some of them not too far from where Jane and I live as well. Anyway, what was nice to see as well, that the three animal welfare organisations getting together, and the three animal welfare organisations of prominence on the island are the animal welfare, the Zakynthos Animal Welfare Association, or they call it here the Animal Welfare Club. Anyway, Zakynthos Animal Welfare is what we all know it as Zorf. Okay. Also, Zanti Strays is there as well, and also Healing Paws, which is run by the lovely Sue Deeth. So they're kind of the three official animal welfare associations here on the island, and I know people give money to all of those three little areas, and of course their job is now harder with Brexit obviously as well, in the fact that they could get certain supplies and certain things in from the UK, which now is not easy for them to get because of the restrictions. And also as well, I've been talking to people yesterday during my beach radio show, lorry drivers that I know that tune in to me, saying that they're now trapped in the UK and they come out of the UK to do, some of them don't live in the UK, they live abroad and they travel in and out to do work, and now they're trapped because of the lockdown that France has put in place. And one lorry driver called Phil has been living in his cab in laybys when he's not technically on the ship driving, because he cannot get out of Britain to make any deliveries and that. So anyway, going to keep an eye on that story. We'll see how that proceeds and how that goes, and hopefully somebody in authority is going to come to some sense, and then obviously the animal welfare people can then carry on their great work. And again, if you want to give any donations or any money to those three organisations, I'll tell you now, the money goes all to the animals, all to the strays, no admin, no none of that other rubbish that you hear of other bigger charities having, and they just get on with the job. Some of them do it very quietly, very discreetly, and obviously doing a great job to house some of the strays that we have here on the island. Anyway, some other good news then. The Dutch airline Corendon, I think that's how you pronounce it, has announced its operations for 2020 to Corfu, Attiko, which is Ithaca, and also Zakynthos. Anyway, for Zakynthos, from the 16th of May to the 17th of October, there's going to be 2 flights a week from Amsterdam, and they're going to be on a Wednesday and a Sunday. And while from the 2nd of July to the 22nd of October, there will be a 3rd flight every week on a Friday. So the Dutch still look like they're actually going to be coming. Anyway, from July the 2nd to October the 22nd, they're going to put on another flight, and that will be from Maastricht as well, and that will be a flight every Friday from there. Corfu, they're also going to get flights, but their flights are going to start on the 19th of May, and they'll run to the 23rd of October. Again, 2 flights a week coming from Amsterdam. Attiko, they're going to get from the 19th of May to the 23rd of October, they're going to get 2 flights a week from Amsterdam, and every Wednesday and every Saturday. So there you go. The Dutch are still on their way. I'm wondering how this grand experiment is going on in Rhodes at the moment with the lockdown, with the all-inclusive hotel and people being restricted in the hotel, but nothing has come out yet. It's still the early stages of that, and as soon as we hear what the feedback is of that, we'll let you know. Anyway, interestingly, looking at the UK government at the moment, again, more madness in the UK at the moment. The government, obviously, in England, we're not talking Scotland, we're not talking Wales, but the government in England has confirmed plans to trial a COVID passport scheme starting this month as a way to allow the return to a level of normality by ensuring safe entry to entertainment venues such as football matches, theatres, cinemas and nightclubs. Now, we were just discussing that. You might remember that yesterday there was an absolute uproar over this having a passport to go to a pub. Which was all well and good, but if you're of a certain age and you're not entitled to a vaccination, then you technically can't go into a pub for a drink. It's not like checking that you're old enough. It's like, are you safe enough to go for a drink because you haven't had the vaccination or whatever. Anyway, the government, basically, the English government here, I think, are cocking up just incredibly because they're not thinking this through. And people are up in arms about the stupidity of this. And the latest thing, which I saw yesterday, which again, it's Easter. Police are raiding a church in Balham and telling people who'd organised this event with social distancing inside the church. All these Polish nationals, and I know the Polish have saved the churches, the Catholic churches in Britain, all had this organised mass for Easter, and the police went and raided it, said they would arrest everybody, fine them all as well for being in. They weren't supposed to have more than 6 people in, but they'd already cleared it with the authorities to have this mass. So again, the stupidity of the police and the stupidity of the English government. Now, going back to this passport scheme, this to me sounds like a classic climb down where I think we've cocked up here, but we can't put our hand up and say, yeah, we've made a mistake. We'll have a rethink of this. But Boris and his crowd have already said, but regarding a travel and foreign holidays in context of this passport for going to see a football match, the government has proposed that destinations could be ranked via a risk-based traffic light system when travel restrictions are lifted after May the 17th. Discussions are underway with Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland with regards to integrating the schemes UK-wide. So everybody's doing their own thing in the UK at the moment. So we're not really United Kingdom anymore over there. And they're also now looking at a traffic light system, and they're also, but one good word has come out of that, or 2 good things. May the 17th. May the 17th. Restrictions are lifted is what they're talking about. Now, whether that's going to happen, because I think if I remember rightly, it's April 17th that the discussions about travel for the summer will probably be finalised. But anyway, Boris, get a grip, get rid of your passports, get rid of all this rubbish at the moment. People don't want to come away. People want to go in a pub. Just admit, you can't defeat it. You're going to have to live with it. If you've had a vaccine, great. If you haven't had a vaccine, well, it's not the end of the world, all right? But there's a lot of people that are young that are not eligible under your scheme at the moment. You have done a good job in vaccinating. There's no 2 ways about that. But at the end of the day, people have got to get back to normal. People have got to get back to work. People have got to get out and about. And the kids have got to go back to school, all right? That is the bottom line of it. Let's get some of this madness sorted out. But anyway, I shall move on. Anyway, just to say about what's going on here in Zakynthos, the police have been out again here doing bookings, and got some figures this morning, literally, of police checks that were implemented across the Ionian. All right, from the police departments here in the prevention of the spread of COVID virus. Now, on Friday, there were a total of 36 violations in Corfu. There were 11 in Zakynthos. There were 5 in Kefalonia. There were 2 in Macardo for travel restrictions, where people were basically breaking either the curfew or they hadn't booked out on their phones to wherever they're going to go. Remembering you must still book out on your phone. And all of those people were fined €300 for breaking those travel restrictions. So we had 11 people here in Zakynthos. So the police are out and about checking. When it comes to violations about wearing a mask and that, we had 11 violations in Corfu where people were fined. We only had 1 in Zakynthos, so that's a positive. And we had 1 in Lefkada for obviously people not wearing a mask. All right. So again, €300 fine if you're caught not wearing a mask. But remember, you are now allowed to drive with more than 2 adults in a car. Going around as part of your exercise, so that little thing has been lifted. And then as of tomorrow, the shops or retail sector is going to be opened on a limited scale with the old make an appointment and click and collect. Again, absolute bollocks if you ask me, because how is it not safe to go into a small shop than it is to go into the supermarket like Lidl, A&B, surrounded by lots of people. Obviously the virus doesn't go to the supermarkets, it only goes to the small retail shops. But anyway, that restriction will be now lifted tomorrow, and look out for the telephone number in the window. Ring the number, say, hello, can I come into the shop in about 10 minutes time? Yeah, we'll open it up for you. They'll write it in the book and then you go in. All right. That's what they'll be doing. Trust me. And you're not allowed to pay in cash. You've got to pay on a card. So they're tracking your purchases as well. So there you go. All to look forward to tomorrow. Now, talking about the police again, there seems to be heavy Greek police at the moment today. The Hellenic police on Friday announced that the introduction of identification badges on their uniforms of police officers, and they're also going to put identification numbers on helmets as well. Now, police officers are going to have their ID number visible, all right, and emblazoned on their uniforms because of the problems that the Greek police have had over riots, breaking up public order, the heavy-handedness of the police. It's not easy to identify those police officers who, shall we say, just get that little bit carried away with what's going on. And it all becomes very sinister. Men in black, riot shields, batons, helmets down, visors down, and if you get the crap beaten out of you at a riot, you've got no comeback, you've got no readdress because you cannot identify who the person was. They have actually started to wear body cam as well, so obviously they can gather evidence through whether the evidence is in your favour or in their favour. Wait till you get that into court, all right? But at the moment, something that's happening, something that has happened in the UK, however, I've been getting reports and seeing reports of police doing raids where they're removing their identification numbers, and because they're all wearing masks and that, it's very difficult with people who have redress against UK police forces for them to identify officers involved, because some officers are removing their numbers and their badges from their collars when they're doing raids on people. So again, just to let you know, the Hellenic police are moving a step forward while the UK police are making a step back. And we'll keep an eye on this little story to see how that works out in the future as well. Also as well, another finally little story for you. I never realised this, but Athens has been hosting discussions on the geopolitical developments in the Eastern Mediterranean, and they've been discussing that with the Egyptian military. And the chief of the Greek General Staff, Rear Admiral Georgios Bolomos, met with the commander of the Egyptian Air Force, who is also a Rear Admiral, Mohammed Abis Hemli Hasla, during an official visit to Greece. Now, the commander of the Egyptian Air Force, together with the chief of the General Staff, visited the 117th Battle Wing at Andravida Air Base. Now, you wonder where Andravida Air Base is. Anytime you've got on the ferry and you've gone over to Kyllini, and when you come off the ferry at Kyllini and you're driving towards Athens or you're heading towards Patra, you will notice a Greek Air Force base along that route. And that is Andravida Air Force Base, basically. And yeah, literally across the road from us here in Zakynthos. During St. Denis's celebrations, they sometimes send a contingent over as part of the military contingent for St. Denis's Day. So that is what that base is as you drive past it. Anyway, it seems that the Chief of the General Staff participated in a flight in a couple of Phantoms along with the Egyptian Air Force man, and they got a fly past, and they actually flew two Phantoms of 338 Squadron on a training mission. They flew over Zakynthos and took a little flyby over the shipwreck, all right? And they got some nice pictures on Hermes newspaper of the fly past in the old trusty Phantom. I remember those when I was in the Air Force, the old Phantom. Gone from us, we don't use them anymore. But the Greek Air Force still have their trusty Phantoms, and it's kind of a nice old aircraft to see still flying about, although it's been upgraded for, you know, the 21st century, as it were. So there you go. That's some of the news stories today. Let's have a quick look at who's tuning in. And at the moment, I'm just trying to squiggle down. Let's have a look. Alfling is tuning in. Nice to see you. Susie Angus, nice to see you as well. Bob Monroe. Emma Marku is also tuning in. Julie Meldrum. Christine Wildridge is tuning in as well. Nice to see you. Nikki Christie Skinner is also watching. God, that's a mouthful, that name. There you go. Nice to have you looking in. Wiggy over there in lovely Limassol in Cyprus is tuning in. Hilary Rogers just up the road in Piggadakia. Nice to see you looking in as well, my lovely. Steve Hinklin as well, tuning in from Stoke-on-Trent. Teresa Ann Huggett is watching as well. David McCosh is also tuning in. That's a new name. Also Nick Haviland, also tuning in from Bedfordshire. Lyndon Erickson from Wales. Nice to see you tuning in, old Lyndon. And Wiggy says, morning, don't eat all the chocolate eggs. Listen, we haven't got any chocolate eggs. We've not received any. Greeks don't go in for that sort of thing very much. It's real eggs they go in for. And they do a game where they take eggs and you play it like conkers. All right, you know, whoever's egg lasts the longest getting bashed against someone else's, that's good luck for you. But we've got all that to come because our Easter is not until the 4th of May. So we've got another month yet before we have Easter. Maria Halberg is watching as well. Also Shane Bowen up there on Exmoor's tuning in. Nice to see you, fella. He says, Galimera Ginge, happy Easter. Thank you very much. Brian Slinger, ex-Raffridge buddy, tuning in as well. Mike Gattentley also tuning in. Mike also does a lot of stuff with the strays. He has a Facebook page. I think it's called Give a Stray a Home. But just go on Facebook, look up Mike. You'll find his stray page there. He works in conjunction with Healing Paws, Zanti Strays, and also Zorf as well. They all kind of work together, and Mike's one of the people who looks after some of the strays before they find homes. So nice to have you tuning in there, Mike. Brian Slinger says, Easter, happy Easter to you. Have a good one. Thank you very much there, Brian. Sue Dickinson is tuning in. Shane Bowen says, loving the shirt from a very sunny Exmoor. Thank you very much. I thought I'd be a little bit colourful today. Okay, so there you go. Rainer Pete Dillon is also watching as well. Maria Hadelberg says good. Okay, thank you for that, Marie. That's in context with something, I don't know, but I'll find out. Graham Chisholm is watching. Lisa Jane Baker is watching. Margaret Miller says happy Easter. Andy Johnson is watching. Carol Jameson is also watching. Rob Davis is watching as well. Jackie Baker's also tuning in. Nice to see you here, Jackie. Ian Moss is also tuning in as well. Janet Cooney's tuning in. Patsy Ann Dobson, she says, good morning, Ginge, from another cool day here in Margate. Loving the shirt. Well, do you know what? I actually bought this shirt in Margate when I popped home quickly for my mum's birthday. I normally would fly out. I'd do 36 hours in the UK, quickly fly out, go to my mum's birthday in Green Gables. I arrived when flying back one time that it was too hot. It was really, really hot, and I sort of overdressed. So I quickly rushed to Peacock's and they had a massive sale on. I went, oh God, I'll get this, I'll get that, I'll get that, I'll get that. And this was one of the shirts from the sale, which I thought was very nice. And bless, I think Peacock's has gone now because of what's gone on with the COVID. But I used to like going in there for a little browse. Anyway, I digress. Mary Halberg says, Galimera Ginge, hope, what's the weather like in Sweden at the moment? Wendy Northcliffe is watching. Graham Bint in Australia is tuning in as well. Nice to have you looking in. Emma Marku says, happy Easter to you and Jane. Roll on the 2nd of May for Greek Easter. Yeah, well, 2nd of May is, what is it? Yeah, I thought it was anyway, you're right. Roll on that day because Easter is the best time. It's better than Christmas, Easter in Greece. Trust me, it's the time. Easter is better than Christmas, believe it or not, if you can understand that. Anyway, Paddy Brolly, my old mate Paddy Brolly there today. He's tuning in. I'm not sure if you're still in Northern Ireland or not, fella, but nice to see you. Steve Bateman is watching. Also, Rossi as well from Australia over there near Melbourne. He's tuning in. Also, Andrew Geach as well is tuning in. Nice to see you. Andy Burke, Raffridge buddy. Will Bland also tuning in. Frank Proud, Raffridge buddy, tuning in. Heather Nash tuning in. I got to Rossi's message. He says, hey, buddy, we wish you a safe and happy Easter, although I know you can't resist the lamb on the spit on the Greek Easter. Yeah, that is very true. You can't beat the lamb. Do you know what? The lamb here is just absolute. Jane doesn't like eating lamb because she's seen too many little lambs boinging about in the fields. So I have to eat lamb in secret, all right? But yeah, I do like the old lamb on the spit and the goat as well, although goat can be a bit of an acquired taste. Anyway, Heather Nash says, happy Easter to you and Jane. Sherlock Holmes, that makes me laugh. Who is Sherlock Holmes? I'm looking for Mr. Watson down there somewhere. Also, Karen Bush is watching. Paddy Brolly says, happy Easter. Billy Hester is watching. Julie Meldrum is watching. Chippy Woods in Spain is watching. Jan Lawrence is watching. Alan Woodhouse is watching. I'm going to quickly flick through. There are loads of people are wishing me a happy Easter. Jane and I. I've also seen my brother Simon is watching as well. I'm going to try and give you a call today, and I'm going to give Mum a call as well. Wish her a happy Easter. And also, can I just say thank you to all the people at Green Gables Nursing Home over there in Margate, all that they've been doing, and especially Susan Neal. She does a fantastic job with activities for the residents of the nursing home, and they've not had any problems with COVID in the home or anything of that nature. They've done an absolutely sterling job, and they're looking after me mum really well. And Susan, you are doing a fantastic job keeping me mum and the rest of the residents all entertained, and it's an absolute credit. And it's so lovely to see the happy smiley faces in all this doom and gloom that's going on at the moment as well. Right, I'm going to have to go because I've got to cook breakfast, all right? That's my little mission on a Sunday morning. And can I again wish you all a happy Easter for those non-Orthodox people and also those Orthodox people. Another little thing just to point out is that we do have a Catholic church here on Zakynthos. We're one of the most rarest of Greek islands that actually has a Catholic church. I'm not sure what they're doing today, whether they're having Easter Sunday Mass or anything else of that nature. But just for future reference, whenever you come over here on holiday, there is a Catholic church here. It's the only Catholic church that looks like a Greek Orthodox church, to be honest. And you'll find that in St Marco's Square, and it's called St Mark's, obviously. And it's right next door to the Alpha Bank. And it's also worth a little look when you come over here on holiday. When you get here, hopefully after the 17th of May. And if you're Dutch, you'll be here maybe the end of April, again the beginning of May. And if you're Israeli, you're already coming. We know you guys are already coming. And if you're Serbian, we know you lot are coming by driving. But anyway, I'm going to leave it on the head there. Just to remind you, don't forget, I do have my Northern Soul show going out on beatsradio.co.uk. It's going out slightly earlier this weekend because it's Easter weekend. It's going out at 3 o'clock UK time. Not normally 4 o'clock UK time, and I may even end up being repeated again. I got repeated yesterday on Beats Radio. My dance anthem show might get repeated again today on beatsradio.co.uk. So if you want to tune into that and then the Northern Soul, by all means, come and join us. I'll probably be hanging around the chat room, all right, taking requests and dedications for future shows. But anyway, that's it from me. You have a happy Easter. And if you go out for a walk today and you see a stray, give it a little bit of food, give it a little hug. And if you can give it a home, even better. I'll catch you later. Ta-ra.